Have you ever wondered why so many people in Japan stay lean, active, and energetic well into their 60s, even though many of them don't spend hours in the gym or follow extreme diets? What if the biggest reason behind stubborn belly fat isn't just junk food or skipping workouts? What if it begins with something you do within the first 30 minutes after waking up? Most of us wake up, reach for our phones, scroll through notifications, check emails, open social media, grab a cup of coffee, and rush into another busy day. It feels normal because almost everyone does it. But imagine a different morning. Picture a quiet street in Kyoto just before sunrise. The air is cool. Birds are beginning to sing. The city hasn't fully awakened yet. A 62-year-old woman opens her front door. She isn't holding a protein shake. She isn't checking her smartwatch. She isn't answering messages. Instead, she slowly pours herself a glass of warm water, drinks it without rushing, and steps outside for a peaceful walk. Simple. Nothing expensive. Nothing trendy. Yet these small morning choices may have a bigger impact on long-term health than most people realize. Now, this isn't about claiming that Japanese people have some magical secret. They don't. Their routines aren't perfect, and neither are their lives. But many of their daily habits are built around reducing unnecessary stress instead of constantly fighting against the body. And that's an important difference. Modern health advice often tells us to push harder, wake up earlier, train harder, burn more calories, drink more coffee, optimize every second. But sometimes the healthiest body isn't built by adding more. Sometimes it's built by removing what quietly works against you every single morning. Today, we're exploring 5 simple morning habits inspired by everyday life in Japan. These habits won't magically melt belly fat overnight. No habit can honestly promise that. Real health always takes time, consistency, balanced nutrition, regular movement, quality sleep, and, when needed, guidance from a healthcare professional. But these habits may help support a healthier lifestyle, improve energy, reduce stress, and make healthy choices feel much easier. Let's begin with something almost everyone overlooks. The very first few minutes after waking up. Think about your own morning. What's the very first thing you touch? For many people, it's their phone. Notifications. Breaking news. Social media. Messages. Before your feet even touch the floor, your brain is already processing dozens of pieces of information. Your body is barely awakened, yet your mind is already sprinting. Now compare that with a slower beginning. Instead of stimulation, hydration. Instead of urgency, calmness. Instead of reacting, preparing. This leads us to the first habit. Many Japanese households begin the day with something surprisingly ordinary. Warm water. Not because warm water is a miracle drink. It isn't. But after 6 to 8 hours of sleep, your body naturally wakes up slightly dehydrated. During the night, your body continues repairing tissues, regulating hormones, and carrying out countless biological processes while you sleep. Replacing that lost fluid can simply help you start the day feeling refreshed. More importantly, the ritual itself changes your pace. Instead of shocking your system with stress, caffeine, or endless scrolling, you're giving yourself permission to wake up naturally. Imagine your body like an orchestra. Every organ has its own timing. Your heart, your brain, your hormones, your digestive system. When everything begins gradually, the orchestra plays together. But when the morning starts with chaos, it can feel like every instrument is trying to play at once. One respected Japanese idea is that health isn't created by constantly forcing the body. It's created by working with it. Rather than treating your body like a machine that needs commands, treat it like a partner that needs support. Tomorrow morning, before reaching for your phone, Try a simple experiment. Drink 1 glass of water. Sit quietly for 2 minutes. Notice how you feel. Not because it's a miracle, but because awareness is often the first step toward healthier habits. Now let's move to the second habit. This one has nothing to do with food, nothing to do with exercise. And yet it may quietly influence your mood, your energy, and even the quality of your sleep later that night. Natural morning light. The woman in Kyoto finishes her water. She walks outside. She doesn't immediately begin exercising. She doesn't put on headphones. She simply allows herself to stand in the morning sunlight for a few peaceful minutes. To many people, this seems unproductive. But your brain may see it differently. Our bodies operate on an internal biological clock known as the circadian rhythm. Morning light helps signal to the brain that a new day has begun. That signal plays an important role in regulating sleep-wake cycles and supporting alertness throughout the day. Many people today begin the morning under artificial indoor lighting while staring at a bright phone screen. Hours later they wonder why they feel tired, why they crave sugar, why they struggle to sleep at night. Of course, morning sunlight isn't a cure for every problem. Life is much more complex than that. But spending a few minutes outdoors after waking may help reinforce your body's natural daily rhythm. And perhaps even more valuable, it creates a moment of peace before the world starts demanding your attention. As children, many of us naturally experience mornings this way. Fresh air, birdsong, open skies, no endless notifications, no pressure to respond immediately. Somewhere along the way, many adults replace sunrise with screen light. Perhaps that's one reason mornings often feel exhausting before they truly begin. Tomorrow, try another small experiment. Step outside for 5 minutes. Leave your phone inside. Don't listen to music. Don't check messages. Just observe the sky. Take a slow breath. Listen to the sounds around you. You may discover that your mind has been craving silence far more than stimulation. And surprisingly, the next habit might completely change the way you think about your morning coffee. If you're someone who can't imagine starting the day without coffee, don't worry. This isn't about giving it up. In fact, coffee can absolutely be part of a healthy lifestyle for many people. The question isn't whether coffee is good or bad. The real question is, when do you drink it? Let's go back to Kyoto. Our 62-year-old woman has already had her warm water. She's spent a few quiet minutes outside in the morning light. She's taken a slow walk through her neighborhood. Only now does she return home. She grinds fresh coffee beans, waits patiently as the aroma fills the room, pours herself a cup, and enjoys the first sip without rushing. Nothing complicated happened. She didn't remove coffee from her life. She simply delayed it. That tiny change may seem insignificant, yet it reflects a broader Japanese way of thinking. There's a beautiful Japanese concept called ma. It refers to the meaningful space between two moments. Not empty time. Valuable time. The silence between musical notes. The pause between conversations. The moment before action. In many ways, modern life has erased these pauses. The instant we wake up, we want stimulation. Coffee, emails, social media, news, noise. But what happens if your body is allowed to wake itself up first? When you wake naturally, your brain begins increasing alertness through its own internal processes. Many sleep researchers note that giving your body a little time before consuming caffeine may help some people avoid feeling overly dependent on it first thing every morning. Everyone responds differently. Some people feel perfectly fine drinking coffee immediately. Others notice steadier energy when they wait a while. The point isn't following strict rules. The point is becoming curious about what works for your own body. Think about how often people say, I can't function without coffee. Maybe that's true. Or maybe your body simply hasn't had the chance to wake up on its own in years. Tomorrow, try something different. Don't quit coffee. Just postpone it. Drink water first. Get a little natural light. Walk for a few minutes. Then enjoy your coffee slowly. You might notice your energy feels smoother throughout the morning. Sometimes changing the timing changes everything. Now let's talk about movement. The internet loves extremes. Train harder. Push further. No excuses. No days off. Sweat more. Burn more. But many people in Japan have a very different relationship with exercise. For them, movement isn't punishment. It's part of daily life. Our woman in Kyoto finishes her coffee. She changes into comfortable shoes. You might expect her to start sprinting. Maybe a high-intensity workout. A long run. Instead, she walks. Slowly. Comfortably. She notices flowers growing beside the sidewalk. She smiles at an elderly neighbor sweeping the front entrance. A cyclist quietly passes by. Someone bows politely as they walk past. There are no fitness trackers demanding more steps. No competition. No pressure. Just movement. And strangely enough, that's exactly why many people continue doing it year after year. One of the biggest reasons exercise routines fail isn't because they don't work. It's because they're too difficult to maintain. People go from doing nothing to trying everything. After 2 weeks, they quit. The Japanese approach often favors consistency over intensity. Doing something manageable every day instead of something exhausting once in a while. Even a gentle walk has benefits. It encourages movement after hours of sleep. It creates time away from screens. It offers fresh air. It provides a chance to organize your thoughts before the day's responsibilities begin. Most importantly, it becomes enjoyable. Health shouldn't always feel like hard work. If every healthy habit feels like punishment, eventually your brain begins resisting it. Imagine owning a beautiful classic car. Would you start the engine and immediately drive at maximum speed? Probably not. You'd allow the engine to warm up. Your body deserves the same patience. Gentle movement isn't about avoiding exercise. It's about respecting where your body is at the beginning of the day. Some mornings you might feel ready for strength training. Other mornings a peaceful walk may be exactly what you need. The healthiest routine isn't necessarily the hardest one. It's the one you'll still be doing 5 years from now. That simple shift in thinking changes everything. Instead of asking, "How many calories did I burn?" try asking, "Did I take care of my body today?" The answer often matters much more. And now, we're about to reach what may be the most powerful habit of all. It doesn't involve food. It doesn't involve exercise. It doesn't cost a single dollar. Yet it may be the one habit modern life has quietly taken away from almost everyone. Silence. Silence has become one of the rarest things in modern life. Think about it. The moment we wake up, we're surrounded by information. Notifications. Headlines. Videos. Messages. Background music. Conversations. Advertisements. Our minds begin working before our bodies have even had a chance to breathe. Now imagine beginning the day differently. The woman in Kyoto returns from her morning walk. She places her coffee beside the window. She doesn't turn on the television. She doesn't pick up her phone. She simply sits quietly. No meditation app. No timer. No complicated breathing technique. Just a few peaceful minutes with her own thoughts. To many people, this sounds like doing nothing. But perhaps this is exactly what we've forgotten how to do. Japan has a beautiful idea that values inner stillness. Not because silence solves every problem, but because silence allows us to hear ourselves again. When life becomes noisy, it's easy to lose awareness of how we're actually feeling. Sometimes we're hungry. Sometimes we're simply stressed. Sometimes we're exhausted. Sometimes we're emotionally overwhelmed. Yet we treat all of those feelings the same way. We eat something. We drink another coffee. We scroll again. We stay busy. But silence creates space. Space to notice. Space to breathe. Space to respond instead of react. And perhaps that's one reason so many healthy habits become easier. When your mind becomes calmer, your decisions often become calmer too. You don't automatically reach for junk food. You don't feel the same urgency to constantly check your phone. You don't spend the entire day running on autopilot. Modern psychology often talks about mindfulness. Japanese culture has practiced similar ideas in everyday life for generations. Not through complicated routines, but through simple moments of presence. Making tea slowly. Walking without rushing. Listening carefully. Eating without distractions. Cleaning with attention. Living one moment at a time. These habits may look ordinary from the outside, but together, they create a lifestyle that naturally reduces unnecessary stress. And that's something worth thinking about. Earlier in this video, we started by talking about belly fat. But maybe now you've realized, this was never just a story about belly fat. It was really a story about mornings. About stress. About attention. About the relationship we have with our own bodies. Many people spend years searching for the perfect diet, the perfect supplement, the perfect workout, the perfect shortcut. Yet lasting health rarely comes from one dramatic decision. It usually comes from hundreds of small decisions repeated consistently. 1 glass of water. 5 minutes of sunlight. Waiting a little before that first cup of coffee. A gentle walk. A few quiet moments without distractions. None of these habits are revolutionary on their own. And none of them guarantee weight loss. Real health depends on many factors, including nutrition, physical activity, sleep, genetics, and overall lifestyle. But together, these small habits create something powerful. They change how your day begins. And how your day begins often influences how the rest of it unfolds. Tomorrow morning, try something different. Before checking your phone, pause. Drink a glass of water. Open a window. Step outside. Feel the morning air. Watch the sunlight reach the trees. Walk for a few minutes without rushing anywhere. When you finally drink your coffee, enjoy it slowly. Not because someone on the internet told you to, but because your morning deserves more than constant urgency. Try this routine for 1 week. Not expecting miracles. Not chasing perfection. Simply observing how you feel. Maybe your mornings become calmer. Maybe your focus improves. Maybe you make healthier choices throughout the day. Maybe nothing changes immediately. That's okay too. The goal isn't perfection. The goal is awareness. Health isn't something you achieve once. It's something you practice every single day. And perhaps that's one of the most valuable lessons we can learn from everyday life in Japan. Not that they have secret answers, but that they often respect simple routines enough to let those routines quietly transform their lives over time. If today's video gave you even one idea you'd like to try tomorrow morning, let us know in the comments. Which habit will you start with? Warm water? Morning sunlight? Delaying your coffee? A peaceful walk? Or simply 5 quiet minutes for yourself? Sometimes the smallest habit becomes the beginning of the biggest change. And if you enjoy exploring simple lifestyle ideas inspired by Japanese culture, supported by practical insights and thoughtful habits, make sure to subscribe. Because here, we're not chasing perfection. We're learning how to build a calmer, healthier, and more intentional life. One morning at a time.